Just checking myself out. Making sure I look legit before the reading. Here we go. Welcome to my channel. I'm Moonshine. This is the weird channel. Actually, I shouldn't even say that because like so many readers pick up on energy like I pick up on. It's not all bells and whistles with all of us. It's not, will he call me? Does she love me? It's like, who's trying to kill me and when can I return the favor? Scorpio, you are death. You know what I mean. Let's see what's going on with you. Okay. All right, we got Mask, Ascending, Heart with a Key, and the Runner. This doesn't seem evil, but at first glance, nothing seems evil until you really look at it. Okay, not showing true feelings. This doesn't seem evil at all. I don't know why I'm saying evil so much. I feel like evilness is just in the air. But this one is, I feel like somebody is like hiding themselves, hiding their true personality. And they're getting over that. But I feel like somebody is like locked in to listening to their ego. I feel like maybe somebody knows some truth and they're not revealing it because they know that if they tell the truth, it's going to remove this obstacle from somebody's life and let them go. That's what it is. And you know what's funny? I swear this is the reason why I'm watching it. I'm watching this BBC show. It's like a mini series and it's called Innocent. And this guy went to jail for 7 years. He was acquitted of the crime they went to courts 3 different times and the juries couldn't make a decision. So finally this guy gets acquitted because there's not enough evidence to say that he committed the crime because he didn't. So now after 7 years, he has to come out of jail and find who killed his wife. Like they now have to figure out who killed this woman because it was put on this man this whole time and considered solved, right? So I feel like somebody, put somebody in a bad situation, okay? Then we got the Headless Horseman, and we've got this Page of Cups. I feel like somebody masked somebody under a certain agenda, under a certain character, and it held them there, right? And this person now, although might have filled that character in the past, now can't fulfill that person. So 2 pages in a row. I've got 5 decks together here. Okay, just cards that I picked out for these readings. And two pages from one deck came out. That's like, there's only like 20 cards in each deck in this big deck. What are the odds of those two coming out side by side like that? Then we've got 911 emergency. Yes, yes, yes. 911 emergency before you actually change into this character. Okay, I get it. Oh, fucking lovely. Look at this. Exit. You're getting right out of this. Because I think the world knows that you could change into this character very quickly. Oof. There's the Hierophant Voodoo Warlock right there. Yikes. Okay, so. Yes. Somebody brewed this for you. Yep. Yep. Okay, I got it. Somebody did not like you. Okay? It's a proven fact in this reading. What they did was, this is really bad on them. I don't know who this person is, but they left you for dead. Okay? They left you and they walked away. And then what they did was they went out and made you a character. Okay? They summoned this. They thought about it. Okay? What can I turn my daughter into? What can I turn my son into? Because they saw that you were a threat. Headless Horseman, they saw, okay, like they obviously saw the wrath in you. They saw something in you, okay? And the thing is that if you had something in you as a child, it was placed there by somebody else, okay? So, like, we're talking, like, I mean, this is majority where abuse and pedophilia stems from, because when somebody molests you, okay, they have a demon inside of them. They have the pedophile demon inside of them, right? They think that they find children attractive, right? They find certain things that are not allowed. Okay, they're physically not allowed. They're against the law. So that's how you know that something is mind manipulating them to see a child or a baby as a sex symbol, okay, as an object of their affection, as something that gets them hard or wet or whatever it does to them, okay? It's all in the mind. It all stems from the mind, okay? So if you were molested, this person that has this demon, put this demon on your shoulders. And it happens with any child that's molested. That's the thing, is like these demons take over your life because of the demon that was put in them. Okay, there's like a million different forms of the devil. Okay, it's not just one form of the devil, and that's what I've realized now. It's like when people refer to the devil, it's a demonic energy that is ruining mankind as I speak. Okay, so they summoned this thing into you because they said you were the threat, because you knew what they did. And now I'm getting to Split. I don't know if you ever seen that M. Night Shyamalan movie, but when that little girl turns that shotgun onto her uncle, because she knows that what her uncle is doing while playing these naked animal games with her in the forest, there's like a fucking 8-year-old turns a shotgun onto a adult. So you could have done something as a child and pointed a gun at your parents or pointed a gun at the one who hurt you. And the gun malfunctions in the movie. So maybe this person slapped it out of your hand, or you could have done something that threatened their livelihood. This is a big reading. This is a bad reading. Like, and in regards to what this person did to you is bad, because they listened to their ego. They held on to you. They used love to hurt you, right? It's in the movie, if she doesn't go play these games with her uncle, he says he's going to tell on her. He's going to tell the dad that she's not listening, that she's being a bad girl, and that there's nothing wrong with the games that they play. but she knows there's something wrong with it, right? She's having all these flashbacks and shit, and that's how it happens. It happens through flashbacks. You suddenly, and you know want to know how it happened with me? This is fucked. I was always terrified of my stepfather. Always. Everybody's terrified of him. He is a man that you just don't want to fuck with because he'll look at you and that evilness that comes through him, it kills you. He can kill you with a stare just like that. It's messed up. And I was always terrified of him. And my sister got in this really bad situation, and her ex-husband stole all of our money, and we didn't have anywhere to go. And so we were going to go and live with my mother and my stepfather. And I was like 30. This was only 3 years ago now, almost 4 years ago. So I was like 33, 34. And my sister and I, we sat and we ate these mushrooms back at our place. We ate mushrooms all the time. It was something that we did, right? It's very therapeutic. Mushrooms are really fucking awesome. And my uncle had just passed away at the time. And it was about a year after he passed away. And he all of a sudden was sitting right beside me on this bench, and I was a child. But it wasn't him sitting beside me on the bench. It was like a reenactment, because it wasn't even me on the bench, but there was all of a sudden two people sitting on what I thought was a bench. I don't know. It's like blackness behind them. And then the man figure makes the little girl give him a blowjob. And then that's when I went, oh my God, that's what my stepfather did. Like it was a flash. And then once I opened up that door, because he had scared me numerous times growing up. Like if I was alone with him, he was an alcoholic. So if I was alone with him and he would like cuddle up on me or like try to hug up on me and stuff, I would run away. And I never knew why, because I always thought, why are you scared of him? Like, but it's because his drinking, something came out of him when he drank. And subconsciously, as a child, I always knew what he'd done to me. But as an adult, I blocked it out, right? I mean, when something like that happens to you, it's called regression. You regress things. Is that what it is? Repress? No, repress. You repress memories. It's what you do to survive. I was 3 years old. There was no way that I was going to survive what he had done to me for so long. Right? You block it out. Your memory, you wipe it. But then when you're ready to open up the door again, right? My dead uncle did what I would imagine was the hardest mission of all, because me and him weren't close. Like he lived 20 hours away from me basically my whole life. Like I never knew my uncle. He lived in another state my whole life. Like, so, but we were connected. And like the year before he died, I went and I spent a couple of days with him, and he'd already smoked New Brunswick weed. Like he smoked a bush weed. Okay. And I came with like this chronic that somebody I knew was growing that was like fucking 20% THC. And I went, hey, uncle, you want to try some of this? Like, I know you like your weed, but I mean, it's always nice to try other people's weed. He went downstairs. He rolled it in a joint. He smoked my weed so fast. I think I even grew it. I'm pretty sure I'm the one that grew it. And he came upstairs and he said he'd never been high in his life. He'd been smoking weed for 50 years and he'd never been high. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, Whitney, that's not the weed I've been smoking. And he gave me some of his weed that he's been smoking his whole life. And let me tell you, it didn't get me high. It was awful weed, but it was what he knew as weed. He grew up in a fucking bush. He didn't know what chronic was. He didn't know what hybrids were. So then for the last year of his life, he was ordering the best, slickest weed from one of the dispensaries in a couple states over. He was high. He was like finally happy with his life. And it was because of that gift that I gave him. Like, he didn't know what weed was. And he was like in his late 60s, early 70s, and had no idea what weed was, but yet I'd been smoking his whole life. So when he came back to give that gift for me, he opened up a door for me. And by opening that door, I'm the one that had to accept it. I'm the one that had to put the face to the person. All he did was show me the scenario. And I went, oh my God, this is going to be the worst trip on mushrooms I've ever had in my life. And it was. It was the worst trip. I cried for 8 hours straight, because I was releasing it. I needed to get it out of me because it had stopped me and stunted me my whole life, right? It blocked me. It literally did this to me. And I didn't know. I was just laying dead for 30 years. not knowing, right? Being scared of everything, running away from everybody, getting the most toxic relationships as possible, being a drunk myself, getting alcohol poisoning every time I drank because I knew I wasn't supposed to be drinking. Like the life that I was living was fucked. As soon as I opened up that door, as soon as I accepted what happened to me, and not even accepted, I had to relive it basically for 3 years straight. I haven't drank since. I don't drink, I don't eat mushrooms, I don't do anything that causes my body to go into disillusion ever again. Because I don't need to. I don't need to retreat to another part of myself. I don't need to hide anymore. There's no need for me to drink my sorrows away. I don't have any. Because everything was stemmed in that one thing that happened, right? So this is somebody like that putting something in you and it changing you. Because it changed them. But if you don't want to eat children alive and you don't find children attractive, then you will fight that change. You won't turn into what they did or what they are, right? You get to get out of it. And the reason why you get to get out of it is because of this voodoo warlock. Okay, is that what it is? Voodoo warlock? Yeah. It's like you found the spiritual side. Like if you open yourself up to what happened, then if this happened, I'm not saying it did, but if it did, okay, and there's always been a fear of you of somebody, that's the thing, is like, that's your number one target, is if you fear somebody in your family and you don't know why. It's because that fear that they inflicted on you, you were always supposed to keep a secret, right? So we got the 9 of Pentacles, okay, with the caution, okay, they tried to create something in you and they were told not to. That's the thing, is every criminal, every monster, every pedophile is told not to do it because it's their conscience telling them not to do it. It's the demon that tells them to go ahead. It's okay. They try to stop themselves, but then they won't. Which is why I know a lot of people do stop themselves from doing stupid shit that they're not supposed to do, especially crossing a line with a child. You're never supposed to cross the line with a child. Right? So this is the Ace of Swords moving forward, okay, away from this person that scares you, okay, because the person who scares you is the person that hurts you. And that's the fear that is around them, okay? Fear is wisdom in the making, okay? When you're facing fear, I heard Sherlock say it and I went, oh my God, that's like the best definition of fear I've ever heard. But fear now I'm going to totally forget it. But fear is your wisdom in a bad situation. Fear is wisdom. Okay, that's the thing. Fear is telling you something. Right? And that's when we get anxiety and when we get full of rage or we start shaking compulsively because we don't know what's happening, is because there's something there that we can't see that's fooling us into believing it can hurt us again. So we go back into our turtle shell and we go and hide, right? But this is now, this is like adding, it's like, I almost feel like you're going to kill this magician. Because this magician has been able to rewire how you think, feel, charge, like they've made you the monster. They've turned you in to something, right? And that's why this is an emergency, because you're not that person. You have to leave this energy now because you're not a monster. You didn't do anything. They're the ones that scared you. They're the ones that turned into the monster. They always were the monster. You just have to walk away. And obviously you did, or you are about to. And this person can't turn you into the monster anymore because they themselves are. So, man, I must be really getting over my trauma, because like, I could totally talk about that and not even like shed a tear or anything. So let me tell you, I mean, if you have awful parents out there, you know what I did? I wrote them emails. I wrote them emails after emails about all the things that I was feeling at that exact time. My parents never replied to me. My mother told me to fucking stop messaging her. She didn't care. She was dying of cancer. My father calls me a liar. He says not to email him. I'm fucking crazy and to grow up. Like, that's the responses from the emails that I get. So trust me, it's not the best when you start opening up to what happened, but like I sent them emails after like every anxiety attack I would have, or every time that something would come up, and I would know that it was something that they did to me and that they made me out to be the monster. Like, how can you make your child out to be the monster? I'm sorry, but like for the most part, you breed your children. You are your children. If they turn out to be monsters, I guess that's on the parents. I don't really know, man. I don't have kids, but I know that what my parents did to me, they turned me into a monster. They turned me into a liar. They turned me into a fucking beast. Like, people would be afraid of me. Like, I had employers that would fire me outside of the premises because the staff told them I was going to go crazy. Staff told people I was going to punch them out. I've never hit anybody in my life. But I had rage. I had rage for a reason. If you fuck me over, if you do something, then yeah, I'm going to fucking approach you. I'm not just going to go run and hide. I was one that always got violent because once, after 15, 20 years of being silent, I started getting, and like after what happened to me, I changed overnight. Like, I was this perfectly innocent 3-year-old, and I turned into a nightmare the next day. I wouldn't even let my mother touch me for like almost a year. I went to school in kindergarten with bedhead. I didn't let my mother touch me. I didn't let her take me anywhere. Why? Why do you think that was? She's just like, well, you were a conflicted 3-year-old, and your mother and your father and I had just divorced. I'm like, that's not 3-year-old behavior. Like, I had to go back into my past to realize why I did what I did when I did it. I jumped off a jungle gym once, like 3 or 4 times in a row, and I dislocated my back. My parents watched me walk crooked for 20 years and never said anything to me until I took myself to the chiropractor, found out I had stage 4 scoliosis in my back, and I had less than a year to start to change it, or it was going to be irreversible. And my parents still don't believe me. They just call me a liar. And they got my family doctor against me too, calling me, saying that I was, saying, I don't know what you call that, but like thinking that everything is wrong with you, when there actually was quite a bit of things that were wrong with me, but my doctor just called me a hypochondriac, saying that I didn't have to worry about things. And I told him I had x-rays from my back, and he bent me over, felt up my back, and goes, you feel fine. He didn't want to even look at the x-rays because doctors won't look at chiropractors. Chiropractors save people's lives. Chiropractors do things that you wouldn't even imagine, and doctors won't even look at their diagnosis because they know that doctors believe in medicine and nothing else. Where a chiropractor believes in a healing technique, which this is a healing technique for you to go through to get yourself out of the dark into the light, is healing. And you need spiritual shamans around you to help you bring that darkness out of you, so then it doesn't hang and lurk in your body anymore, hiding as an enemy you created. So, anyways, Scorpio, this was a really fucking heavy reading. And when you know my mom's a Scorpio, stupid bitch. I'm dying of cancer. Stop talking to me about how my husband molested you. That's what she said to me. Stop talking to me about how my husband molested you. She called me and my sister incestuous. She said we're incestuous, that we brainwash each other into believing that our family is like monsters. I'm like, no. It took me like 10 years to fucking figure out you guys were all monsters. I didn't make that shit up. Alcohol is evil. But I can say people are evil too. Like, there are monsters out there that don't even touch liquor, so. Anyways, big reading, Scorpio. Hope this helps. Hope we get those demons out of the closet. It's worth it.